All right, can you see the smug
It is
face?
slowly loading. Oh, there it is. I see a smug face, author of. All right, it is all yours.
All right. So hello, thank you for having me. I'm Angel Jesse, also known as Angie93. I'm the co-producer, editor, and social media manager for the VN Yonder World, produced under Fluttering Abyss. It's a horror-themed Otome-style game that will gently speak on issues of depression and anxiety, while players try to escape from Yonder World before they can be killed. So, since everyone here has been offering such amazing advice and showing off such great things, I figured I'd break the mold and tell a story about myself instead. So I am fairly new to the world of game deving, of visual novels. So my shareable experience is a bit limited. A few years ago, I did volunteer as a writer for a fan game. However, that ended up falling through. It was a bit too ambitious for a volunteer project. But it still gave me that first experience of writing and seeing the sort of language and styles used in the coding for visual novels. My current project, however, I've been working on with my partner, Nave, for less than 5 months. And from the conception as a writing podcast with VTuber models, which would be the two on the bottom right, to now where we're about to release our demo and open up our Kickstarter. It's only been about 5 months, so not a lot of experience. However, that's not my only experience in the creative field. My most notable pieces were 2 novels that I wrote and published by myself back when I was in high school and just after. I've also done plenty of smaller things, but those would be the most relevant to today's discussion. So as a solo creator, I never really had anyone to rely on. I also never had anyone who relied on me. I hired out for my cover art, but otherwise every step of the process was done on my own. Writing, editing, publishing, marketing, it all fell on my shoulders. On the one hand, it was super stressful being alone. I had no one to turn to when there was trouble or to give me feedback, and especially not with a non-existent budget, there was no hiring anybody. On the other hand, I never had to answer to anyone. Everything was done on my schedule, and if I failed to do anything or to do it within a timely manner, then I was the only one affected by it. I've worked in team settings before, but never in a creative field like this. The change was a bit frustrating and could easily have gone very wrong if I had started with the wrong group. The actual process of creation, though it initially seemed daunting to me, trying to track all the different routes and the choices and how they affect things, it was initially daunting, but it became pretty easy to understand with a bit of practice and just reading over what other people did. My partner is doing the main writing for our story now, which helps, and I've not really had much trouble following along during the editing process. And I've been able to learn a bit of the coding with Renpai as well as we go along. The thing that's been the most problematic for me has been the sudden need to be on somebody else's schedule. Our team initially was 2, expanded to 4, and we all live in drastically different locations. It's made communication a bit more difficult and definitely slower, as there is only a couple hours each day that all of us are awake and able to talk or work together. It's become vital, especially as the pace has been picking up, to be active and aware of what the others have been doing and how that impacts you. Being on time in a traditional job wasn't as difficult as I was either physically present or had a set deadline I was aware of well ahead of time. In this work, though, in a team setting at least, there aren't necessarily deadlines so much as people are waiting on you to get your part done so that they can do theirs. Adjusting to this has been difficult in some ways, and I'm assuming there are plenty of people here who could relate to that. The sudden pressure in what was previously a relaxed experience can feel overwhelming at first, and even more so in a small team where people are juggling multiple hats and don't have time for you to drop the ball. One thing that's made the transition easiest has been, funnily, the first problem I came across: communication. Though we've only been able to have 1 full team meeting, which was done during the middle of the night for myself, unfortunately. Everyone has been doing their best to reach out, share their progress, problems, and needs, and to fill in the gaps in our workforce as they appear. On top of that, everyone on the team has come in with a very important understanding. Even though there are many outside relationships, all of us are either friends or family. Our work and our work relationships are separate from that. This has absolutely opened up the communication for us. No one is rude, of course, but we also don't sugarcoat the problems. If someone is struggling, help is offered, and if someone is falling short, we know that they can be addressed without hurting their feelings. So I suppose if there is anything to take away from my experience, it would be the importance of that mindset. Being willing to speak plainly and to take what's said as a work critique and not an attack on your person. The friendship between my partner and I is very vital to this game. It's the entire reason we came up with it. The designs, small details, the choices to talk about sensitive topics, it all came from mutual loves and mutual struggles. However, when I've fallen behind or failed to do things properly, my partner wasn't shy in telling me, and I wasn't hurt by her doing so. I understood that my work isn't me, and that instead of crying, I had to make changes so that I wouldn't cause trouble for the team again. I also know that if I was truly struggling, I could go to her for support because the critiques only come from a desire for a quality final product and never anything malicious. I enjoyed my solo work and plan to do more of it, and I appreciate the freedoms that come with it. But I also appreciate the speed and quality that comes from working with a good team of dedicated people. And, not having to do everything by myself is quite nice. So thank you for listening, and to everyone else for sharing today. It has been an absolute blessing getting to listen and getting insights from a wide array of people. I definitely missed that slide, honest communication. Thank you for listening. Feel free to clap, not too long, don't make it weird. And I have no clue if I was short or not because I'm definitely dying a little bit inside.
You are doing fine.
Thank you, thank you. Have some chicken wings. So yes, are there questions?
Are there any questions? We do have a little bit of a break. Go ahead, Rob. People are typing out their question. Chicken wings. Everyone's reacting to chicken wings. Someone asked, what is the biggest mistake you have initially made when collaborating with a team?
I think the biggest mistake was just putting work off for too long. It caused a lot of stress and ended up when I finally did step up and do my part, somebody else had already done it for me and just created a bit more tension and definitely made me feel worse.
Okay. Someone asked, what are your experiences writing alone versus writing with a group, especially with regards to organizing your own thoughts?
So that's definitely been something different for me too. I'm a very go with the flow sort of writer myself. Short of making up music videos in my head for my own stories, I don't tend to plan a lot of my stuff with my novels. But obviously in a setting like this, there's a lot of planning, a lot of back and forth, discussing things. Thankfully, I have a really good teammate who has also been a novelist in the past and has made a game before. So the two of us are able to talk through things and work together. I saw someone asking about how we collaborate virtually. We use a lot of Discord and Google Docs. We have a chat just for keeping track of what everyone's doing. We have a Discord for the company where we can talk with fans and go to them with things. And all of our work goes into Google Docs so that anyone can access it at any time.
Cool. All right. Katie asked, what project management tools do you find help you the most or least?
Sorry, it's such a small team. I'm not quite I'd say my partner does a bit more of the managing because she has the experience. And she's my only direct connection to the team. The other two are personal friends of hers, and those two are related to each other. So I'm not sure if there's any particular tools that stand out as being extra helpful or causing any sort of delays.
All right. Well, that's fine. It's not like I mean, a lot. It could be something very simple. I know a lot of people use just Excel. Probably, which
But yeah, I mean, we do use Excel for some things. We have it for like things like budgeting and being able to collaborate between my partner and I. But most of the stuff is just done via Discord and just tagging each other.
Cool. All right. Well, we have a short break. So thank you very much for your talk. And we have a short break up until 45. So we have like what, 7-minute break. Go get a drink, get a snack, get some chicken wings.